Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Snake's Revenge. In the last part, we blew up some walls and got to this area, and I can't quite remember what else we did because it's been about 3 days since I did the last episode. And now we're going to continue on up into this area. We can't enter the door on the right, but we can enter the one on the left to get some mines. They work the exact same way they did in the originals. Place them down, something walks in them, they explode. And I did stock up on them off screen. I recommend you do that. You need at least 18 for something coming up. Either way, as the running theme of this area has been, blow this wall up. Also, I have to question how I got noticed and these guys got here so quickly. Because there was a wall beneath them, so unless they are ghosts, I call bullcrap there, sirs. And we got more of these platforms. I think I mentioned in the last part, but this music makes this really epic. I think I mentioned it before, but Snake's Revenge soundtrack is actually deceptively good for not being the best Metal Gear. Mind you, I'm very odd when it comes to Metal Gear soundtracks, because my favorite is... well, actually, what is my favorite Metal Gear soundtrack? Probably Solid 1 or 3's. 2's is really good, though. Either way, blow up this sandbag, and we got another hole leading to another side-scrolling segment. I really hate these, I'll be honest. I might look like I'm playing them perfectly, but that's just because I practiced them in and out and in and out, and I had to restart the recording like 8 times, and it was annoying. Yeah, I don't like these much at all. Thankfully, I take a bit of an approach that I took to the Zero series and certain games in general nowadays, where I record them in smaller spurts and then edit them all into one little video. Like Link's Awakening, certain times where I had to backtrack across large parts of the island, I'd stopped recording so I wouldn't have to waste hard drive space like that. So yeah, behind the scenes over here at the channel with the name I absolutely despise, but I can't think of a better one, so I'm stuck with it. I had to heal up there because I would have died by that grenade. Or whatever the heck this mine thing is rolling under the water. Why is that there? How do the guards get around it? And how does this guy not see me? Well, I am pulling a bit of a Apocalypse Now, admittedly. I can't tell if these guards are worse or better than the ones from the original Metal Gear titles. Then again, I'm right in front of that guy's face and he didn't notice me, so... that's a bit worse than peripheral. Or not having any peripheral. Either way, now we want to head up into this elevator and into... what is this? Building... No, not building 2. That's in a moment. Either way, get out the mines, because you're going to need them in this next area. Hug right here and don't move from here, because we got another tank. The tank likes to go up and down and obviously fires missiles at you. Missiles, I believe, are a one-hit kill, as is it running you over, so don't let it do that. 18 mines to kill it, but you can actually place it right next to him like that and do damage immediately, so that's a very easy way to do the 18 hits required. If you don't know how to do this fight, it can be really tricky. If you know how to do it, it's honestly a bit of a joke. The Metal Gear 1 tank was harder than that. Either way, now welcome to Building 2. I was getting a bit ahead of myself there. Actually, entirely forgot about that boss fight. Huh. Either way, our next goal is on this floor to head to both the northeastern and northwestern corners, if I recall. Oh, and by the way, keep the previous room I was just in mind. I'm going to be cutting back there momentarily just to save on a bit of time. Hey, Truth Gas, I restock on this off-screen, as I usually do. One thing I have to give this game credit for that none of the other Metal Gears up to this point have done is that throughout the areas you progress through, the soldiers start looking a bit different. Not even Solid does that. Mind you, in Solid's case, they're all supposed to be, you know, top secret soldiers in the middle of winter, so they kind of need the warm gear, but still. Either way, over here we got some infrared goggles. That allows us to do the exact same thing it did back in Metal Gear 1, see lasers that we couldn't see otherwise. And you're going to want that before heading up here to the roof. Why? Well, there's lasers on the roof, as you can see. Technically speaking, it is possible to get through here without using them. But you're gonna need to either have these patterns memorized, or just be a god at timing and have, like, the best luck of all. I do have to question the practicality of having lasers on your roof, though. I mean, it makes sense in this context because, you know, we're infiltrating from it. But unless these guys learned from Outer Heaven's mistakes back in Metal Gear 1, there is no reason for them to have lasers on the roof. Actually, that's probably the in-universe explanation, even though this is non-canon. Huh. I love this song right here, by the way. And on this next screen, something interesting happens. We're on top of this car, with this, name of this thing. I'm forgetting the name of this, even though these things were even in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Something car. You're gonna need to avoid the soldier spotting you, even on these things. I have to admit, that is a really cool set piece. And we're back to this song. Not that I hate this song, but it's kind of like the theme of Terra. You like it when you hear it, but when you're eventually... You get so tired of hearing it that you're just kind of tired of it. Kind of like the final toccata in the second half of Symphony of the Night. Mind you, Symphony of the Night's overall soundtrack is just great. Fantastic stuff, man. And now we're in Building 3. This is the place. A lot of these buildings, which are, by the way, numbered all the way up to 5, I believe, are fairly small and simple in structure. You do need to visit them, I believe. I recommend you do. I don't think any of them are optional, but yeah. Though I still have to question how these guys don't notice the guys getting gunned down behind them. That's admittedly something that I guess you can write off at the fact that they vaporize among the moment they get hit, but in Solid... No, not Solid, that wouldn't happen, but either way. Metal Gear 2 is 7 times more powerful than Metal Gear 1. Well, that's an oddly specific amount. That is one thing I have to admit I like about Solid 2 onwards, is that when you shoot guys or knock them out, their bodies still stay in sight. So, if this game were to be remade, I would probably have been caught a lot more. Mind you, I would have liked to see a 3D-like remake of this, and, well, not of this, of Metal Gear 1 and 2 Solid Snake. That would have been interesting. In fact, I think they may have been leading up to that at one point or another. Thanks for your help. Yeah, the generic dialogue. How do these guys even get out of here? Because if you go out of the room and... no, if you leave the room and come back in after rescuing them, they disappear. So where do they go? Are they better at stealth than I am? If I didn't even notice them? I don't know. I have no idea how the Metal Gear universe... Well, actually, no, I have a decent amount of... Either way, we got some antidotes. Stock up on those. You can hold up to 12 at this point. And over here, we got key card number 6. Huh. Yeah, weirdly enough, they put 6 before 5, also on back up where the rail cars or whatever meet up. You're gonna want to do that, because we have to head up to Building 3 or 4. Yeah, 4. And yet again, we have to dodge the guys very quickly. No, this at least makes sense. They should be checking up there because they hear footsteps. Though I do wish there was a mechanic that if you didn't move, they wouldn't actually peek out. But that just makes too much sense. But then again, they also heard you walking onto the thing more likely than not. I spot plot holes in my own arguments before I even finish them. Also, what is the point of the lasers flickering? Unless it just has to do with, like, the system can't do too much at once. It would make sense to have them all on at once. I mean, then you'd have to, you know, duck under them and such. But no, we don't have the second plane of walking until 2 Solid Snake and Solid. And Ghost Babel, which is a part of this marathon I just remembered. That's going to be interesting. I haven't played Ghost Babel in about 12 years, roughly. That's going to be interesting. Thankfully, that game, aside from having a shitload of dialogue, is at least very easy to pick up due to its mission-based structure. Hey, another POW. What is Metal Gear? I have never heard of it. I don't believe you! Actually, I do, because you're an NPC and you cannot lie to me, therefore you are programmed to not do as such. This isn't Zozo after all, and that was very poor grammar. Holy hell. I suck at talking. I'm alright at typing and writing, but talking, I just can't comprehend it. Actually, I wonder if they were to do a 3D remake of these older ones. Oh, well, first off, over here you're going to want to come in here because we want to get a high sensitivity antenna. If they were to remake the original Metal Gears, would they include this game at all, or like at least reference it or include part of its plot elements? Because I mentioned before that Kojima doesn't think too highly of this game, but he at least admits it's very playable. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a particular fan of it, but he thought it was just alright. At least I recall reading that from some interviews. I remember that he doesn't like Metal Gear 1 on the NES much at all because it was pretty much just a butchered port, but considering this was an original idea, In fact, it's because of this game that we got the true sequel, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, because someone who was on the dev team for this talked to him on the train, apparently. And now we're in a random castle for Building 5. I don't get that. Scenery whiplash, but yeah, I'll take it. Hey, transceiver! Lieutenant, Nick is coming to us ahead of you. Follow him. What? I am confuzzled. Yeah, I think most of the story for this game was in the dialogue, not in the dialogue, in the manual, so if you wanted to get like character details and such, you have to look in there. Alright, let's truth gas this guy. The commander holds the key to this secret weapon. Now you see, that makes sense. I don't know why you didn't figure that, Snake, because, you know, that's kind of what a commander would do. If it's not in the hands of him, it's likely in the hands of his second command. Or the third in command, depending on what the commander's doing, if he's one of those guys that's actually behind the enemy lines. Mind you, that's all me going off of basic tropes that I've seen in my years of playing video games. And there's quite a bit of those, even though I'm actually not terribly old. College! It messes with my brain and my ability to talk. I seriously have to wonder what this place's purpose is. They're a random castle in the middle of a military uprising. Whoa, hello there, Pitfall. Oh, rank 5. And what is Metal Gear? I've never heard of it. Blah, blah, blah. The one thing I didn't get about this area for years was, you see in these rooms, the pillars? I thought they were broken pillars because the top of them looks all structured, and I was like, why is the purpose of having random broken pillars here? They're not actually broken. The top of them is what we're seeing from above the ceiling, more accurately than anything else. Also, you can restock on plastic explosives in there. Also, I should mention, the elevator we were in just a moment ago, I'm going to be cutting back there off-screen in just a moment. And our last destination is in that room. Get card key 2 out, and go on in. And in here we got some more oxygen tanks. Restock on these, now! And we want to head north. By the way, I should mention, I'm going to probably mention it again during the outro, but I'm going to be cutting back to this room at the start of the next part. So, just a little forewarning there, and welcome to one of my least favorite side-scrolling segments in the game! Why? There's a lot of water, and there's a lot of guards, and there's a lot of things in the water that want me dead. I have to wonder why they included these, because Metal Gear 1 was very successful on the NES. I know that much. So why randomly throw in some random-ass Contra, really, as this is? It's pretty much Contra without the gun. In fact, now that I look at it, Snake's sprite in this reminds me a lot of, what's-his-face from Contra. Huh. Those are both by Konami. Am I unveiling a decades-old conspiracy without even realizing it? I think it might be. Thankfully, though, I can at least say that these guys are better guards than the ones at both Outer Heavens, because keep in mind, in Outer Heaven, both versions of it, you could swim in the water and there was no threat of being seen ever. So this time, these guys actually decided to, put some robots and mines in it. That makes a lot of sense. These guys are officially smarter than the ones in Outer Heaven, just slightly. Also, that's a weird thing about these screens. I don't mind getting caught here because they're right next to the exit. You can't pause on certain screens of the side-scrolling segments for some reason, unless my controller's just freaking out. You can press the select button to access your inventory, or the weapons you can use in the side-scrolling sections at least, but you can't actually pause on certain screens, and that bothers me, unless you just can't pause when you're ducking, but I don't think that's true. Either way, don't approach from that area, go from the left over here. Why? Well, pitfalls. I'll just be blunt. Either way, with me grabbing some ammo, keycard number 5, and a random pair of boots, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we'll be continuing on here in building number 5, and seeing where we can go from there because, well, we're getting fairly close to the end of the game. See you guys then.